What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today we have our top 3 hunter builds that we're taking into the Renegades legendary campaign, as well as the contest mode dungeon. These builds offer a wide variety from fantastic survivability, insane damage, and some really good neutral gameplay. So if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, but without further ado, let's break down our very first build. It has the best survivability I think I've ever used on a hunter build, and it carried me through Mythic Kepler. So we are on Prismatic, and we are using Speed Loader Slacks. This thing is insane for class ability regen, and we'll show you guys how it loops into it. If you have not checked it out before, this is going to be a fun build for you. So dodging instantly reloads all of your weapons and grants increased reload and handling, though it does not work with Ascension, so keep in mind you're going to want to be using Marksman's Dodge if you're using Ascension. Now, dealing sustained damage will grant you class ability energy, as you guys can see in this clip here. Now, we are on just straight Prismatic Hunter like we said. Your super is entirely up to you. You can use Shadow Shot Deadfall if you want to tether enemies and help weaken for your teammates, or if you want to take advantage of the will be newly buffed Golden Gun Marksman, you can use that. Doesn't matter, it's entirely up to you. Now for the melee, we're going with Threaded Spike solely because it severs targets, making them deal 40% less damage, helping aid in our survivability. Then Grapple, so we can grapple melee away, or if we can use it as an offensive tool to just defeat combatants, that's what it's there for as well. But your real survivability, as you guys saw, is coming from Threaded Spectre and Ascension. Now, Threaded Spectre will draw enemies' fire away from you, allowing you to survive without really even being shot at or seen. Ascension puts that Threaded Spectre in the air, but also makes you amplified, giving you that damage reduction of 15%. So they really go well hand in hand. And if you don't want to use Ascension, I'd probably go with Stylus Executioner or Winter Shroud to slow enemies to make them even harder for them to turn around and shoot at you, but it's entirely up to you. This is what I prefer to use, but feel free to mess around with it and see what works best for your playstyle. Now for the fragments, we're going to be using our melee pretty often, grapple, or our Threaded Spike, so Facet of Dawn will allow us to go Radiant off those hits, Facet of Purpose to get an overshield when we pick up an orb, Facet of Protection to give us 15% DR or 32% DR when you're in Transcendence. Then there's Facet of Hope, so this will gain class ability energy when we have an elemental buff. We're going to be Radiant, we're going to have an Overshield, and we are going to be Amplified, so it just helps out in every aspect. Lastly is Facet of Grace. We're going to be using a kinetic weapon a lot of the times, so defeating targets with kinetic weapons will grant us bonus Transcendence energy. Can't really go wrong with that one. And of course, as you saw, our kinetic weapon of choice is Outbreak perfected with rewind rounds. We all hate reloading. It's probably the best on here in terms of PvE perks, so toss it on. It's a ton of fun. And then we want to be using an area denial GL. There is a new solar one coming out with Incandescent that I'm extremely excited to try with this build, but in the meantime, we're going with Velocity Baton from Vesper's Host. You can go with Psycho Pump. You could go with any top slot one as well and kind of mix and match depending on what you enjoy. But frankly, this is what gets our class ability back so much because it just covers the ground in the GL, which aids in our class ability regen. Your heavy doesn't matter. If you want to do damage, linear fusion or rocket, if you want great ad control, go with something like a machine gun. You know, you can even use a new crossbow if you got a good roll on it. But frankly, toss on here whatever fits your playstyle, your preferred loadout in general. Now for the armor mods and the helmet, we're going with a Harmonic Siphon. So our Velocity Baton creates Orbs of Power, Special Ammo Finder, so we find more ammo for our GL, and then Dynamo, since we're going to be pretty aggressive with this and we can use our class ability very often, we might as well use Dynamo so we get more super energy when we use our class ability near targets. Then with the gauntlets, we're going with heavy-handed. This will allow our powered melee to create orbs, bolstering detonation, so grants class ability when we cause damage with our grenade, which is our powered melee from our grapple. Then impact induction, so when we cause damage with the powered melee, it reduces our grenade cooldown. Chest piece wise, we're going with the resistance mods to match the activity that we're going into, and then a kinetic ammo generator so we can help create more special ammo for ourselves. For the legs, we're going with 1 kinetic surge and 1 solar surge, or whatever surge really matches your heavy weapon and then your primary weapon as well. Then better already, so we get health regen off of an orb pickup. Lastly is going to be your class item or your cloak. Reaper and Powerful Attraction. You guys already know when you use your class ability, your next weapon defeat creates an orb, and it'll pick up orbs within 12 meters when you use your class ability. And again, special ammo finisher, heavy on the special ammo generator for this build. So every time we use a finisher, when we have armor charges, we can create an orb of power, provided we have 3 armor charges available. And there is your neutral gameplay hunter. This thing, like I said, carried me through solo Mythic Kepler. It did take a while just because of the ammo economy, but it was very easy to survive. And let me know if you guys have tried this before, or if you're going to take advantage of this one going forward. Now for our insane hunter damage build, check it out. As you can see, we were able to one phase our Grasp of Avarice boss thanks to Prismatic Hunter, Celestial Nighthawk, which of course makes your Golden Gun fire 1 single giant shot, as well as Finality's Augur paired with Mint Retrograde. That's the basis, like that's the the bottom layer of the build. There's a little bit more that goes into it. We'll talk about that in a second. But this is a fantastic build. You could also run it with Still Hunt if you want to. Remember, Still Hunt is getting a 40% buff when paired with Celestial Nighthawk. Another one that you could use this with if you don't want to use Celestial and you want something that has a little bit of neutral gameplay but has great damage at the same time is a class item with Star Eater scales and Immmost Light, or just Star Eater scales. Frankly, I like this one specifically with Immmost Light and Star Eater because when you pair it with Golden Gun Marksman, it's getting a huge buff, 26% against bosses come renegades, and then it has Immmost Light for that just insane neutral gameplay that it offers. So that's one way you could do it, but frankly, we're going to break down the Celestial Nighthawk build because that's what we're showcasing here. And on Prismatic Hunter, we're tossing on Snare Bomb to weaken targets and Grapple Melee, so we're able to go places really quickly if we need to get out of something in a pinch, or if we want to use it as a powered melee tool, we definitely can do that. Aspect-wise, I am going with Gunpowder Gamble here solely because it's getting a huge buff in Renegades and we want to take advantage of it. Then Ascension to give us Amplified when we use our class ability and jolt nearby targets. Now, something that pairs really well with this, as you guys saw, we're using Smoke Bomb that weakens targets, but by getting a powered melee hit, it will also make us Radiant, meaning our weapons deal more damage. Then there's Facet of Purpose to give us Restoration on an orb pickup, Facet of Protection, 15% DR when we're surrounded, Facet of Balance, so light damage grants melee ability energy, and darkness damage grants us grenade energy. And then Facet of Ruin, this is there, one, because it gives us plus 10 weapons, but also we're pairing it with Gunpowder Gamble, which again, remember, is getting a huge buff, so we might as well take full advantage of that as well. Now you guys already know we're using Mint Retrograde and Finality's Augur. For our primary, we're going with a solar weapon. Any solar weapon will do here. It's entirely up to you what you guys want to use. I decided to pull out Zawali's Bane because I hadn't used it in a really long time, and we decided we want to have some fun with it, so that's what we're doing. Now for the armor mods, we're going with a Harmonic Siphon to generate orbs off of our primary kills, 2 super font mods to give us plus 20 or plus 40 to our super stat, putting us at 179. Now for the armor mods on the gauntlets, we're going with a bolstering detonation, so it grants class ability energy when we cause damage to the grenade. A melee font mod, since our melee is so low, we might as well build into that. Then heavy-handed, so our powered melee hits create an orb. Remember, your grapple melee counts as that as well, so it can create that orb of power. For the chest piece, as every other build goes, resistance mods to match their activity, and a solar ammo generation mod to match our primary, so we create more special ammo for ourselves. The legs, we decided to switch it up a little bit here. You get good survivability from Protection, Amplified, Restoration, so we decided to go with 2 Strand Surge mods to buff up our Mint Retrograde, and then a Solar Weapon Surge for our primary and our Finality's Augur. For the class item, we're going with Time Dilation, so those Surge mods last longer, Powerful Attraction and Reaper. You guys already know the combo on those. And then building heavy into Grenade, super, and weapons. For the set bonus, if I had Smoke Jumper for this hunter, he's my least played class at the moment, I would go with Smoke Jumper set, but we don't have that. So we have Twofold Crown. So picking up an ammo brick heals us. Not doing too much, but there is an insane damage build for you to take into Renegades or to take into the contest mode dungeon, whatever you guys prefer. As you saw, we did get 2 supers off in 1 encounter, so it is extremely, extremely good. Now, this next hunter build is the one I'm most excited to use. It is going to be a huge damage build when it never used to be one. And that, of course, we can't talk about hunters without talking about Orpheus Rigs on a Void Hunter. What Orpheus Rigs is going to do here is going to give our Mobius Quiver an additional shot. I'll show you guys what it does right now. So already before Renegades, the damage is not that bad. But the great thing about Mobius Quiver is its last shot, or last 2 shots with Orpheus Rigs, is going to get a 220% damage buff once Renegades launches. And it is slated to be one of the best damage supers in the game. I never in my day would have thought that Tether was anything but a support build, but here we are. It's going to be nuts, and we are going to have a ton of fun with it. Of course, for the grenade, we're going with Vortex. Really, whatever grenade you guys prefer, use that. Vanishing Step and Trapper's Ambush for the aspects. So when we dodge, we go invis, and we can use our powered melee in the air to also go invis, but weaken targets around us. For the fragments, we're going with Echo of Remnants, so our Vortex grenade lasts longer. Echo of Persistence, so void buffs last longer, i.e. Overshield, Invis, and Devour. Then there's Echo of Starvation, so when we pick up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power, it'll grant us Devour. Then Echo of Instability, so defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to our void weapons. Reason I'm using that specific one is because we are pairing this with Reckless Oracle, with Demolitionist and Repulsor Brace. So we get a grenade kill. One, it's going to reload our auto. It's going to give our auto void volatile rounds. Then when we get a kill, it'll proc Repulsor Brace, giving us a void overshield, but also giving us more grenade energy every time we get grenade kills. It's just a self-fulfilling loop that is fantastic to use. Then, as you saw, we're using Mint Retrograde and Finality's Augur. You notice the theme with this, Mint Retrograde and Finality's Augur, is just extremely, extremely good. If you guys don't have Finality's Augur, you could use something like Parasite instead. You could use Anarchy. Really, any one and done quick shot is extremely good. Anarchy does damage over time, just like Finalities does. If you are lucky enough to have Whirling Ovation, that thing's utterly insane right now too. But if you want Finalities and you don't have it, come stop by our stream. We will gladly help you farm Sunder Doctrine until you get it. For the armor mods that we're using with this one, we're going with Dynamo to reduce our super cooldown when we use our class ability near targets. Then 2 Harmonic Siphons squirt orbs off of our primary. For the gauntlets, we're going with a firepower. So not only do we get Devour off of those grenade kills, we will get an Orb of Power as well. And then Bolstering Detonation, so it will grant us class ability energy when we cause damage with a grenade. Since our class ability is so low, we might as well build into that one. And then Impact Induction, so causing damage with a powered melee will reduce our grenade cooldown. Then there is our chest piece, resistance mods, matching whatever activity, void ammo generation to match our Reckless Oracle. For the legs, solar mod, and our Solar Surge and a Strand Surge to buff up our Mint, as well as Finality's Augur. Better already for health regen on orb pickups. Lastly is going to be our class item with time dilation. So our armor charges last longer, meaning our surges last longer, so we do more damage. Then powerful attraction and Reaper. As you know, that is a staple in a lot of our builds because frankly, it's too good to pass up. But those are the 3 builds that we are taking for Hunter into the Renegades expansion and into contest mode dungeon. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and a comment down below letting me know, are you guys going to try out of these builds? What are you most excited about in terms of the ability changes that are coming for Hunter next week? As always, thank you so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.